Let me ask you a question, Cuffy. At any time during the initial stages of your indictment involving this whole Tammy Commons thing, did you talk to Big Meech or did you send a message to Big Meech in any way to tell him or to alert him of what was going on?
We sent Big Meech certified mail. Big Meech set me up, and Tammy set me up with this thing in 2013.
Well, did Blue Da Vinci cooperate or no?
Yeah, he cooperated. I mean, I didn't say it. It was in Miss Mara Shalhoub's book, where his own lawyer said, yeah, there was anything else that we could do, Your Honor, to help you along with this case.
Someone is calling him a snitch. Initially, there was a low rumble, the kind that spreads like wildfire across the streets. Now, though, 50 Cent is fueling the flames by presenting documents that he claims show Big Meech, this notorious black mafia family financier, was active on both sides. You're stuck with Urban Lux while we delve into the shocking claims that could shatter a legend. But where did 50 Cent get this purported smoking gun in the criminal underworld? Former members of the BMF who were formerly passionate about the cause are reportedly changing their minds, according to rumors that are making the rounds. According to reports, they are giving 50 Cent the ammunition he needs to carry out this strike. Loyalty was once the glue that held empires together, but it now seems to be eroding due to time, fear, and fame.
One night, and then my homeboy that was with me, he was like, Tone Bird, he from BMF too. Tone was like, ask Big Homie what's up with the movie with 50, like what's going on with he from New York. I had to use my New York accent. Yo, what's going on with the 50 Cent movie? So I'm like, oh, yo, Meech, what's up with the movie, with the TV show?
Furthermore, it has been reported that Big Meech is willing to confront 50 Cent directly, correct the record, and remind everyone of the true power dynamics. Forget the Instagram feud, but don't assume that he is merely keeping quiet while his name is being tarnished. Might represent a whole new degree of conflict.
My client would be more than willing to cooperate with you all to help you in this investigation. But now the thing of it is by you admitting what was done, you know what I'm saying, what you done or whatever, but bottom line is, you know, you didn't take the single plea, you went in.
This goes beyond mere celebrity nonsense. It's about legacy and the painstakingly constructed Big Meech myth. As you may be aware, 50 Cent has a history of heavily targeting people and utilizing his enormous resources to exaggerate any perceived disrespect, which might turn into a relentless campaign.
Was giving them information on that they already had and thought it was cool, but you still, you know, that was part of that. You just confirmed other that the other CIs just done told.
You know, I just gotta wait to holler at Tammy before, you know what I'm saying, I know where we at with that, and Tammy is a government informant. So when he said that, I was like, Tammy, what you mean, Tammy? Like, nigga, you ain't heard what's going on with her?
50, though, might have just awakened. A giant. The reason Demetrius Big Meech Flannery's name is so well known is that he is not some ostentatious celebrity. The epitome of strength, ambition, and an unrepentantly adventurous way of life. Now let's back, starting from the bottom in the 1980s. Meech and his brother Terry, Southwest T, built their empire illegally, one block at a time, while selling $50 bags. By the early 2000s, they had established operations in Michigan, Georgia, Florida, California, and Louisiana, transforming that business into a national drug trafficking powerhouse. The magnitude, with car fleets, piles of cash, and enough street cred to compete with anyone, was astounding. But the federal authorities were watching. To conceal their operations, they established BMF Entertainment, a garish front that doubled as a legal party marketing firm, while the main event took place behind the scenes. BMF Entertainment was not what it first appeared to be. In 2005, one of their real artists, Blue Da Vinci, put out an album titled The World Is BMF's. On the surface, it seemed real. Beyond closed doors, however, the walls were closing in. In October 2003, Meech immediately exchanged his pricey chains for a cell block and jumpsuit when the federal government seized BMF. In the ensuing finger-pointing, guess who was the target of the most criticism? Blue, by Leonardo da Vinci. Many in the BMF community considered him to be the weakest and most likely to falter. What about the time? Show suspicion. Blue was able to get away with it even though the DEA took down Meech. The rumors had spread. By 2004, Blue was publicly accused of aiding the police by Dexter Sosa Hussey, the head of logistics for the BMF. During debriefings, Blue's own lawyer admitted in court that he had tried to cooperate but had nothing valuable to provide. In the streets, people were asking, if Blue didn't snitch, then who did? Finally, in 2023, Blue makes his voice heard in a startling interview with K Capone News. The story is altered by his assertion that Tammy Cowan was the actual source who provided the feds with what they needed. Was no typical gamer either. Since 2008, Meech has maintained a strong relationship with Tammy, his trustworthy business partner, despite his imprisonment. In an act of loyalty, Meech gave Tammy the rights to his life story. In 2021, she and 50 Cent used that to co-produce the BMF series. The worst thing, however, is this. Tammy's vast insider knowledge, not merely stories, but actual facts, opened a big case involving money laundering. Because of her help, Terry White, a well-known figure in the drug trade, was arrested directly. And at first, Tammy didn't get paid for the information. When her tip led to White's arrest and the confiscation of cash, cars, and homes, however, her DEA handler, Agent Harsh, proposed that she get a sizable reward, a share of the confiscated assets. This is a financial situation, money for blood. Everything is now being questioned on the streets.
It's believed that Terry White grew up in an Atlanta housing project. But when FBI and GBI agents arrested him last night, he was living here, a sprawling $200,000 mansion in Jonesboro.
Had a media room where there were 24 TV sets on one wall hooked to a satellite dish. And you could hit a button and all 24 TVs would.
The twist, though, becomes considerably stranger. Tammy didn't have the typical reasons for becoming an informant, such as dire financial circumstances or a fear of legal consequences. The documentation indicates that there are no unresolved charges or issues related to substance abuse. One of the strangest informants the federal investigators had ever encountered, they said. Why? Unadulterated revenge. According to rumors, Tammy was unaware that Terry White was using her to launder his illegal fortune. Following her realization that the deception was a personal issue rather than one of fame, fortune, or self-preservation, she supposedly decided to drastically alter the course of events. Tammy had a strong desire for vengeance and played the game with ice in her veins. But why, after Terry White's imprisonment, did Tammy continue to provide information? Now, the threads. From within the prison, Tammy was secretly assisting Big Meech in plotting his own power move. He connected with a well-known cartel boss who ran a massive trucking firm in California, Fidel Suarez. Law enforcement had already arrested Suarez twice on suspicion of trafficking, but he had gotten away with it both times. Meech saw an opening. Even when the area was closed, he allegedly intended to continue the flow of goods by using Suarez's distribution network. By continuing to run his business from his cell, he hoped to keep a consistent flow of income. But to accomplish his goals, he needed an outside partner he could rely on. The return of Tammy Cowan to the fold. In September 2011, Meech contacted Tammy, also known as CS1, directly to beg for her assistance in setting up a delivery that Suarez was supposed to handle, according to leaked documents. By now, Suarez was already in contact with Tammy. When Suarez first called Meech to inquire about her well-being, the seemingly harmless conversation swiftly evolved into something much more. The key that Meech allegedly used to connect Fidel Suarez to his longtime partner, Dion Cuff Gatling, a well-known drug trafficker who oversaw the flow of drugs into St. Louis from 2009 to 2014, was Tammy. Meech, Gatling, and Suarez allegedly conspired to move copious amounts of cocaine across state lines. Tammy, on the other hand, was their shadow and told the feds everything without their knowledge. Police used her information to build a compelling case, and on March 13, 2014, Gatling was taken into custody for narcotics trafficking and weapons. Violations related to a transaction that resulted in a death, Gatling ultimately received an astounding 27-year sentence. What's even more amazing is that Meech was not charged with organizing this entire incident while incarcerated. How did he get away with it, given his clear involvement? When Meech was specifically asked if he had planned the cocaine deal between Suarez and Gatling during a court hearing, Tammy flagrantly lied under oath to defend him. This is the shocking reality. Even if she had cooperated with others, she provided Meech with crucial cover. The feds were immediately concerned by this apparent show of loyalty. They found that Tammy had been discredited as an informant and that her motivations were far more complex. Nevertheless, the dishonesty network expands. Tammy was an informant for the DEA investigation, and it turns out that she was also romantically involved with one of the agents. The investigation became considerably more challenging as a result of this entanglement, which ultimately endangered its integrity. In a dangerous game, Tammy was controlling every aspect. However, as is customary, the walls began to close in after a while. Everything fell apart for Tammy when she discovered that Gatling's legal team had filed a suppression application in March 2015. Because of her action, she might have been recognized as the CS1 confidential informant. Tammy's fear at the realization was understandable. Dion Cuff Gatling has a reputation for being aggressive. Court records show that he was involved in the killings of Theus Howard, who had snitched on Gatling's brother in 2010, and Terrence Morgan, who was set to collaborate with the federal government against Gatling in 2013. Tammy knew Gatling was cruel, and she feared for her life if her identity was found out. She desperately sought protection from the authorities, but they allegedly failed to assist her. There was nowhere else for Tammy to go, so she made one final desperate step. Her destination was Big Meech. She believed that after years of devotion, he would provide her sanctuary, but Meech reportedly didn't want to get involved. Reports state that he turned her down because she was involved in a scandal or caught Gatling's attention. Tammy, having no other option, shifted tactics and attempted to have Meech's name removed from the complaint entirely. She even claimed that her DEA partner was jealous of her relationship with Meech. Court documents state that Tammy, as CS1, promised to provide an unsworn statement prepared to expose what she claimed was a fraudulent relationship between Meech, Gatling, and Suarez. She said that Meech was only implicated by Agent Chroma because she was angry. Power conflicts, betrayal, and unexpected twists abound in this crazy roller coaster of a story. Please hit subscribe if you would like to stay up to date on this type of breaking drama.